Welcome to the Dream, Plan, Start, Grow podcast hosted by Allison Turner. In each episode, we interview real, everyday entrepreneurs to learn how they got their start, what challenges they faced and overcame when starting the business, and what successes each has had. Welcome back to the Dream, Plan, Start, Grow show. My name is Allison Turner. I am the host. I am the founder of Batcat Media Group, home of Dream, Plan, Start, Grow. And today I have with me Jack Schulman, executive producer of Batcat Media Group. So he and I are in business together and we live together. So he's also fiance. So I thought today would be an interesting story because Jack had his own production company that just did video production prior to us getting together in a relationship. So when you had JVM Productions, when did you start that?
Well, it started out as Jack's Videos when I first incorporated in 2000. And then I changed directions and it became Jack's Video and Multimedia Group, and then it became JVM Productions. Went through a bunch of different changes.
Okay, and what did you primarily do under JVM Productions, the last entity of it?
Well, for that, JVM Productions did mostly sizzle reels, AV for conferences, a lot of TV commercials. That was basically where I was back then, more of that than just internet stuff like I do now.
Yeah, I think the market was a little different even 10 years ago than it is now. I don't think video was becoming more important on the internet, but it wasn't where it is today, where it's like
Right.
Extremely important, probably the most important thing on internet marketing and social media at this point in time.
Well, when I first started back in the 90s, 1992, when I got my first video camera, we were still working in standard definition and VHS tape. When I went to school, because after leaving the music business, I went back to college and learned video production. And we learned editing on a Beta machine. So we had Betamax. And then we moved over to VHS. And then, boom, boom, boom. Now we're on these little itty bitty cards, these SD cards. Crazy.
Wow.
Everything's getting smaller except phones.
Yeah, well, it depends on the phone. Some phones get smaller, but you just like the jumbo phones. So.
I like a big screen.
So when we started dating, I know you still had JVM Productions. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I had at the time BCOSF Media and Business Consultants of South Florida, which is before we rebranded. So how did you decide to kind of join forces with what is now Batcat Media Group?
Oh, because you are a very strong woman and because you manipulated me and led me into the direction you wanted me to go, and it seemed beneficial to me, so I just let it happen. And I look back and
manipulation. I'm talking to my audience, not you.
Anyway, no regrets.
So today it's Batcat Media Group. We rebranded last year, taking 3 divisions into one, which is Batcat Media Group, which is also what Dream, Plan, Start, Grow is under from the business coaching and podcast production side. So what's your favorite aspect of what you do today?
My favorite aspect of what I do today, I like playing music. I like being up on stage. I like being in front of the camera more than I like being behind the camera. But I make more money behind the camera, and I think I look better behind the camera. So that's why I do what I do today.
So how about music production? Because one of our services under Batcat Media Group is obviously video production and music production. So and I know you like the creative side of video as opposed to, while there's the talking head videos, which are simpler videos, more like this podcast, you like some of the explosive videos.
Talking heads.
And creating, more of a experience in video, I guess?
Well, I like to be creative. I like to create. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to build little models. I was building little models, plastic models. So I always liked to create. When I had my first recording studio, I actually built all the recording studio furniture, not realizing it was so heavy I couldn't move it. So when I moved out from where I was, I had to leave it all. But so it's the same with music. I love writing music. I love working with other people on their music. I like to produce along with them. Some of them are a little tough because some people have it in their head exactly how they want to do it, and you can't always tell what it is they want. And that can be pretty frustrating because then you feel like you're being micromanaged if you want to help produce something that you think, it's sometimes hard. It's hard to draw the line between what the artist wants, what the audience wants, and I feel like I know what the audience wants. Audience. Take two.
What the audience wants.
Yeah, it's the artist wants something, the audience wants something. It's up to me to try to bring it together and make it something that the audience wants, but the artist wants as well. And sometimes that's hard to do because everybody has a different idea of what they want. We're all individuals, and it really comes through in music production. More so, I find, in music production than video production.
Well, probably because you're dealing with other artists.
I'm dealing with
so
artists.
You're an artist, they're an artist, and now you got two different creative minds, like sometimes conflicting and sometimes on the same page.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. So what's from owning a business, what was your biggest challenge in owning your own business?
What was my biggest challenge in owning it? Mm-hmm. The administrative side, the left brain stuff. As Allison knows, I'm very unorganized. I know where everything is because I put it there.
Most of the time.
Well, for most of the time. Okay, so sometimes I may lose something. But, my mind is everywhere. And it's like I'm always creating. And because I'm always creating, I feel like if I'm in creative mode, I can't stop and do this. I can't stop and do that. But this is the business side that has to get done. So Allison always has to get on to me about that bit because I'm busy creating and she loves doing the administrative side. That's what she's really good at. I
don't know about love, but
that's
it's a necessary thing that you have to do in business. So
yeah, and she's better at it than I am. So, basically we were working together, then we were living together. It's like, why have two separate businesses when they were so intertwined? So I figured we'd become business partners, but considering the fact that she's smarter than me, she ended up signing the CEO line and demoted me to executive producer. But it sounds nice, executive producer. But still, I have to call her a boss. And
you did join my company, so.
Yeah, except she takes it home with her. Oh yeah, that's right, we're living in your house too. Yeah, I got rid of my house and my business for her. I like her a little bit, okay?
You made a good choice.
I did. I mean, I really don't have, other than the fact that she's very bossy, I don't have any complaints.
A strong female, type A.
Yeah, very much so.
But one of the things I wanted to touch on today, which I thought might be interesting to someone either wanting to start a business or someone in business, is working together with someone you're also living with. Because I think that can be challenging for you, can be challenging for me as well, of not taking certain things home with you. Because you and I both tend to work longer hours and I'm always thinking business ideas even when I'm at home. I could be watching something on TV or reading a book and I think of something, I have to write it down before I forget what I'm actually thinking about. In the middle of the night, if I wake up and think about something, then I've got to actually grab my phone and jot it down real quick so I don't forget it by morning. So, but I know sometimes that relationship can be hard to have those two things intertwined, and really keeping them separate to some degree is a necessity. So what's been, the best part of that for you?
What's been the best part of that for me?
Putting him on the spot.
Well, I used to work in corporate America for many, many years. And I noticed that if you slept with the boss, you got special treatment. So I have to say that's probably, one of the better benefits.
So it's not just, I think you have to be aware of the two different relationships and make sure you adjust and learn from different experiences as well. So, I do my best to try and separate from things at home, which doesn't always work, clearly.
No, it doesn't.
But there's times where I am turned off. And so if all of a sudden, you say something like, hey, we need to do this, and it's like 9:00 at night, and I'm a morning person, then I can't compute that at that point in time. And vice versa. If I say to you at 7:30 in the morning, something you're not computing, and even though I've been up for 3 hours and he's not quite awake.
No.
So you have to also figure out how to come up with those compromises in the situations as well to make sure that, one relationship, whether it's business or personal, doesn't suffer due to the other relationship. Don't you think?
Yeah, I get it. I agree. And what was the question?
You forgot the question? No, I was saying that you have to come up with certain compromises. So, whether it's a compromise on the personal side or a compromise on the business side. So basically those two things don't interact negatively together.
Well, with us, it's like we both work a lot. We're both passionate about what we do. We both have a home office and an office here, a studio at home and a studio here. So it's like we can work together and not work together. So it's not like I really see a whole lot of you. Sometimes I don't see you for days. Except in passing. Wow. That would be all week. Except for when you need me. When you need me to film you, then that's when I see you most.
You see me you saw me this morning before I left to come to the office. So I typically work from our office. If he's editing, he typically works from home, his home office and home studio. And then if he's filming, then he's here in studio. So oftentimes when he's filming, it's either, or he's filming out at a client's space, office space or something
on-site.
like that. Yeah, there we go, on-site.
Or is it off-site?
On-site.
It's on-site.
The key thing is oftentimes we don't, we won't see each other during the day, which I think also is helpful because it doesn't, we're not right on top of each other and you're not in this office, at the desk right over there. And, you may want music in the background. I may not want music in the background. So there's not any kind of conflict from that side.
Well, I always have music or talking going on because I'm editing or I'm mixing.
Right.
So there's always sound.
Yeah.
Regardless. And you don't like that sound, so I have to isolate myself from you. But I use headphones a lot, so,
Well, because sometimes if I'm writing something and I start hearing someone speaking, then I start writing whatever I'm hearing. So hence why I don't listen to music if I'm writing an email or something like that. If I'm doing website work, then I can listen to music or podcast or whatever because I'm not typing something in. So for me, it's just kind of separating those two.
Yeah. And I get the part where if you're writing something, you hear something, you start writing it. Because I can imagine if I'm writing a song and I hear you, and it's I'm writing something maybe I hear the waves crashing against the beach, and I open the Word document to page 37. And and those words don't work in the song. So then I have to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where he even went with that one.
Not normal.
No, definitely not normal.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been the biggest challenge of working together?
Your bossiness. I do let it go in one ear and out the other, but still, it's still that thing. There really aren't any really major challenges except working together. If I want to take a day off of work, of course, she's going to know. It's not like I can just say.
Well, any boss would know whether it's me or you're working for someone else.
It's been so long since I've worked for. I've had my business for so long, so I haven't had to worry about bosses. So I figure if I'm going to have a boss, it's going to be someone that I at least have. She's not really my boss. She thinks she's my boss. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, I do what I want to do. She likes to tell me what to do. And if I want to do it, I do it. But if I don't want to do it, it's funny. If I don't want to do something, she's not a nag. She doesn't nag me to do it. I mean, unless it's something that needs to be fixed around the house, in which case she nags and nags and nags. I'm like, if you leave me alone, I'll have it done within 6 months. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's what I have to deal with. Yeah. So, I think the other thing is we both love to learn new things. So I think that's another, thing that we are synergistic about, if that's a word.
What was the word you just made up?
Synergistic.
Synergistic. Lauren, can you look that up? Synergistic.
We have synergy in that arena, which is the point. So we recently joined a year-long mastermind called Turn It Up.
There you go, right there. Turn it up.
So,
you guys know who you are.
Craig and Ken. So we recently joined a year-long mastermind, and I know we're both looking to get similar yet different things out of it. Because I think, Jack is working on a TV show that he's launching. I'm working on ideas to build out the coaching practice, build out the YouTube channel that goes with that, as well as build out additional business for for Batcat Media Group. So it's really trying to, one of the challenges I see is really trying to bring all those visions together, and I see this as a great opportunity to work with people outside of us and our business, because oftentimes you need that outside opinion because you're too close to what you're doing. So working with Ken and Craig and then the rest of the Turn It Up group gives us that opportunity to get the outside help and suggestions that may help us turn it up.
Yeah, and it is a great group because it's a group of successful entrepreneurs. So it's really great because everybody brings something to the table. And I have to admit, I love the group. The person who started it, one of them, Craig Duswalt, it's funny because we both met Craig at the same time we met each other at a women's conference where he was one of the speakers, she was one of the attendees, and I was doing AV. And that was for WPN, the Women's Prosperity Network. That's where we met. And we just met in passing, that was it. And Craig and I worked together on some things. And he was the one, he taught me some things about marketing on YouTube, which did wonders for me for years until YouTube changed this algorithm. And then Ken comes along, and Ken's his partner. And now Ken is giving me hints on how to do the things that I used to do to make sure that all my videos came up together. So it's just a really good group. And just everybody in it has something they bring to the table. Just a great group. I don't know how else to say it. So I'll just say it. It's a great group. Did I say it's a great group?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
But I think that's one of the key things in the entrepreneurial journey is that, if you're not learning, you're basically then stagnant and you're not really going anywhere. And I think you and I both share that love of learning and love of learning new things. We may be learning different things, but those different things can complement each other.
And they do.
Well.
You learn one side of the business, I learn the other side, and it just flows together. That's the thing that really works with us is that she does one thing, I do the other. Sometimes they crisscross, but for the most part, everything gets covered. I've never, ever had that kind of working relationship with someone before or a personal relationship with someone before. You're just a very different type of person. I've never met anyone else like you. Yeah, you're very unique. Mostly that's good.
Unique in a good way.
Mostly.
Don't listen to him. So talk to us a little bit about the TV show you are getting ready to launch.
Whew. This thing has been changing a lot. This is an idea that I've had for years, but I could never get around to doing it because I've never really had a team around me that I could do it with. I'm always busy working to do other people's projects. I never have time to work on my own. And I also have music projects, my own music project, my own band. So basically, I've been trying to put energy into the band, energy into the TV show, and then energy into my clients' projects, and saving some energy for her and my 18-year-old rebellious daughter. So anyways, but the TV show the idea has changed dramatically. I wanted to do something like The Tonight Show, something like, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, that sort of Tonight Show thing, where you have interviews, you bring guests in for interviews, you have music entertainment, comedy entertainment, but it takes a team to do that. And I was trying to put it together by myself, and it just wasn't coming together. And then I'm putting the energy into the music. So I had to figure out how to bring the music and the show together. I think what I'm going to do is a music show and interviewing people in the entertainment business. So going in that direction, whereas Allison interviews people more entrepreneurs and corporate. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be more on the entertainment side and having a lot of entertainment. And not just music, it could be comedians, but just things that are entertaining or controversial even. I've got a couple of people I want to bring in to talk to that are pretty controversial.
So it's not politics.
No politics. We're not talking politics on my show. No, I've got too many friends on both sides, and it's just become too polarized. So no politics. But it's going to be music based. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. It's starting to come together. Right now, I'm working on synchronizing the audio coming through a mixer in multi-channels, and I have to synchronize that to multiple cameras. So that's all in sync and online. So and on various platforms. There are a lot of working parts, and I'm just trying to pull it all together now and see where it all goes.
And what's the current name of the show?
Imagination TV. Imagine-Nation TV. Nation and TV, one word.
So we need to vote on that because I want to see what other people think.
Well, it's what I got for now, so it could change. I don't know.
So it's not come out yet, so it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, and the band is Strawberry Lane. So, yes, it's started out as a Beatles tribute band for the Beatles on the Beach Festival, the first annual Beatles on the Beach Festival. The promoter of that show, Daniel Hartwell, basically challenged me to put a band together and for the event. At the time, I was helping a buddy of mine teach a class called Adult Rock Band. So he thought, grab some kids. One kid, and the rest of us old people. But so I grabbed a couple guitar players I'd play with, and I had played with before, a girl drummer, and one of the students, Kayla, who was she was really talented at the time. Now she's phenomenal. But that fell apart, then got back together, then COVID came and destroyed everything. And my drummer and I got back together, and we've been having, going through guitar players and singers. We got one of our older singers back, and now we're working with another one of our guitar players, but that's temporary. We're good friends, but we want to do different things. So, hey, what can you do? But anyway, that's the band that I'm trying to put together or keep together for this show. And then basically it'll grow organically. See what kind of responses we get, where the comments come from and whatever. And those comments will help build the show so that it's a show that the people want. So if I can have, while we're doing the show, if people are commenting, it'll help me direct it more to give the people, more in the direction to where I can give the people what they want. Because I think it's really all about the audience anyway. If we're performing, it's for the people that are coming to see us. That's what we're performing. I mean, I might be performing because I enjoy it, but I'm not going to enjoy it if the people out there aren't enjoying it. So my whole thing is, you make everyone else happy, and the happiness comes back to you. It's basically the law of attraction is what it is.
Yeah. So, one of the good things about the show and launching the show, he is going to launch. What's the date on the launch?
Oh, the date on the launch? Probably going to be February 30th, 2023.
February 30th, really. Uh-huh. I want a real date.
Well, where do you want to go? Sushi?
No, I want a date for the launch. You have a date
You want a
yet?
date? Why? I mean, you're with me. Why would you need to bring a date to the launch?
So
I don't understand her sometimes.
But one of the good things about the show and our company is that it can also spark other people to do their own TV show as well, because we can produce that in-house in the studio here.
Yes, we have a studio. We have a brick and mortar studio. Come to me, I will produce your show.
And just like we're producing this, which is more of a podcast / show, this interview format. But the other great thing is it gives you different content. So even when you start your show and launch it fully, it will give him content. And I talked about this on an earlier video as well. Give you content to use across different platforms as well. So it's a great opportunity to build content, build a brand, and create what you've wanted, which is that TV show.
Mm-hmm. What? TV show. That was a cue. That was a cue for something. I guess I missed my cue.
You missed your cue.
Mr. Q.
So how has it been, because you referenced your daughter earlier, Sabrina. So how has it been being an entrepreneur and having kind of primary custody of your daughter all these years, even like before my time in here?
Being a single parent and being the primary parent her mother was traveling, so my daughter was with me pretty much probably about 80% of the time, even though we had joint custody, but I was the primary parent. But she was with me about 80% of the time. I had to change my work model. I used to travel a lot for my business, and that's where the big money was in traveling. And I had to stop doing that because I was a single parent and the mother was traveling. So it was up to me to stay with my daughter, and I had to bring my work more local, because a lot of my video productions, I was doing a lot of production work in Vegas, some in Georgia, Orlando, Miami. Now I had to be here. So yeah, it changed a lot. I had to, and this was about 2009 or 10, during the recession is when I had to change the way I worked. And it was the worst time to do that. And boy, it's good that I had a good investment at the time, because for a while I had to live off an investment I made. So that was really tough. So having a child made it really tough to do what I wanted to do, and on the timeline I wanted to do it. Now she's 18. I can pretty much do whatever. She's living with us half the time and living with her boyfriend the other half the time. So she's now I can do what I want. So what am I doing? The same thing I was doing before. Haven't changed anything yet.
But I think the main point is that I like to bring up in this show is that you were able to adapt the schedule.
I had to, yeah.
Because I think sometimes people don't start a business because, maybe they want the security of like that 9 to 5, mm-hmm. They get benefits, they get, a regular paycheck. And when you're an entrepreneur, especially when you are either changing your model like you did, or starting a business, and you don't have that regular flow of income, it becomes hard, and it's hard because you want to make sure your family's taken care of.
Yeah. That's true. Yes, for me, family comes first.
Right,
it does,
as it should.
And she's very good with my daughter. I mean, my daughter is like the polar opposite of Allison. I mean, Allison's a straight-laced, very entrepreneurial, almost a school teacher type. My daughter is like the cool kid, that has to be with the other cool kids and do all the cool stuff that's not really always cool. So it's like very, very different. And, sometimes it can be difficult, but I have to say you're a champ about it. And she is too, in the end, she loves you. She cares all the world for you. She just doesn't want to be like you.
No. Well, that's okay. She's got to be like her.
I know, but I'm just saying she's 18.
Well, she's still finding herself. So
Yeah.
that's all that we need to say on that. But
Yeah.
I think, as I said, the important thing
Know
is...
any more 18-year-olds? How old are you, Lauren?
Yeah.
Oh, she's not 18 yet. She's okay. She's still okay. Yeah.
But I think the important thing that we were talking about was, that you were able to adapt and that, family still came first in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the greatest challenges. I mean, I know people I see sometimes, so I don't even know how you did it some of the time. But I know some people I talk to that have like 2 or 3 kids and their, primary parents are like only parents or something like that. And I'm like, how did you possibly, run and they're usually in different schedules and they're doing all these different things. And I don't even get how they run that schedule.
You adapt, you make do. You
Right.
do what you have to do. That's really what it comes down to. You do what you have to do and you find a way to do it. Because when kids are involved, once you have kids, there's
kids
no
have to
way
go
to really
first.
describe it.
Right.
It's your life changes. It's like, before my son was born, actually, which was when he was born when I was 25. And at that time, all I wanted to do was be a rock star. That's all I cared about. I wanted to be a rock star. I didn't even think that I could love a child. So when my girlfriend at the time got pregnant, and the thought of having a child, it wasn't what I wanted, but as soon as I knew she was pregnant, I was like, I'm going to be there. That's my child. But I never thought to myself, can I love that child? Can I love the child the way I need to? Because I love myself so much. I knew the way I was. I wanted to rock out. All I cared about was being a rock star. But when my son was born, my whole world changed in that second. It's like, all of a sudden, I didn't think about being a rock star. I thought about being that child's dad. Everything changed from that point on. So I didn't go out to LA. I stayed in New Orleans where I was married, where I ended up getting married and being with my son until the recession, the oil recession of the 80s hit. And then I had to leave. I couldn't find any work there. I went back up to Washington, D.C., got out of
All right. We don't need to go through the whole story.
There's too much
There's
there.
too much of the story. It'd be like a 5-hour podcast.
Back up.
Yeah, we don't need the 5-hour version
No.
of the podcast.
No, basically I had a draft. I was a draftsman. I was a musician, but I had to make a living. I wasn't making a living playing music. So I was a draftsman. From that, I became an oil field pipeline designer. Then I went up to DC, became an architectural engineering designer. Then I went to work for the government for a short period of time. And then I found myself down here in Florida. And I went back to school, became a video producer. Mm-hmm. Because music wasn't paying. I didn't want to go back to architectural engineering. I became a DJ for a while, made a lot of money as a DJ, but that's another story. That's a long story.
Yeah, we're not going there.
Yeah, no, and then that's how I put myself, as a DJ, that was how I put myself back through school to become a video producer.
That's good.
Yeah.
So from the creative side, what's the big dream that hasn't been achieved yet?
I still want to be a rock star.
Still want to be a rock star.
I still want to be a rock star, but nobody wants to look at me anymore. I mean, rock stars are young and good looking. Me, I'm old and good looking.
Well, but now you got all the bands that were young and good looking, how many years ago that are now like in their 70s that...
Yeah, they're even older than I am.
Yeah, that still make a lot of money as rock stars.
But I mean, and the thing is that I have learned over the years by doing business and by being in the music industry. I mean, I got screwed royally in the music industry before. That's why I got out. But now I have a better head on my shoulders and things are different. So I have a recording studio, a video studio. I have all the equipment I possibly need. I have a great marketer. I even have a great promoter. I know the people. I have all the contacts. I've got everything I need. But musicians can be the flakiest people in the world. I have all this to offer, and I'm a really good bass player too. So I know what I'm doing, as well as a good engineer. But I just don't get it. I have all this to offer and a good band, but musicians are flaky. I don't know how else to put it. Huh?
Some musicians are flaky.
Okay, not all musicians. I take that back. I'm making a general statement. I take that back because I'm not flaky. So, okay, maybe a little. But there are a lot. Let's just put it this way. For some reason, I keep going to the places where I keep meeting those. But I'm working with some really good musicians too. So
yeah, you have some great musicians.
I'm working with some really, the band I have together now is great, but
yeah.
my guitar player's on loan.
You never know.
Yeah,
never say never.
That's true.
Act as
he is a good friend. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
He's a very good friend. It's just that
act as if.
He has different ideas about what he wants to do though.
Act as if.
As if, okay, act as if, okay.
So if someone wanted to, someone was creative like you and thought they wanted to be an entrepreneur, what would be like the first tip you might give them in entrepreneurship?
Find a good partner that likes to do business, that knows the business side. Because if you're the creative side, there's a good possibility you may not be so well-rounded that you could do the business as well. You could do the creative and you could do the business. But the problem is when you have one person doing both, then you're dividing your time, you're dividing your brain power. So you're getting half the work done because then you have to go out and you have to sell the work. But if you have someone that's a good business partner that can do the business side while you create the product, that's a match made in heaven. It really is. I run into issues all the time where I'm creating something. The video is coming out. Oh my God, I slept on it and I woke up, I have this great idea and I'm going to town and I'm like, finally, the idea came to me. And Allison's like, we have a meeting in 5 minutes. I'm like, what? Because I get so into my work, sometimes I actually forget what it is that I might have a meeting because I'm in my work. That's why I have to set little alarms to go off 5 minutes before. But she comes in, I'm like, oh, I got to finish this. We have to have this meeting. Then we have our meeting. Then I go back to the work and it's like, I totally lost my flow. Now the video is going to sit there and I'm going to go start on something else for a while because my mind has gone to this instead. It's hard when you have to do it all. You got to have a left brain and a right brain person because if you're both, you're just going to do half of everything you have to do.
I don't want to split down the middle.
Well, if you split it down the middle, you're still doing half of what you have to do.
No, not necessarily. I think it just depends. You're just more on the right side, the right brain side.
But when I take the test, I'm barely right. As I've taken that left-right test many times, and the thing is,
you lied.
Nope. Because I know what I need to do for business. I know what I need to do to grow a business. I know all that stuff. But I learned a long time ago, if I concentrate on that, I'm not going to be able to create. Because I can't go back and forth. Maybe some people can. I can't go back and forth. I have to stay in this zone or in this zone. I can't jump from zone to zone. You see how I get. I get stressed out. I crawl inside. I complain that I need a vacation where we like different types of vacations. To me, a vacation is, in general, going to the beach, getting a hotel on the beach, with glass sliding doors so I can hear the ocean when I sleep at night and have a tiki bar and a pool over here off this balcony and the beach off this balcony. I just want to be there with my guitar, my laptop, write some music, go have some drinks, lay on the beach, maybe have Allison there for, nighttime activities because, without her snoring, I can't sleep.
Funny.
Yeah, but her idea of a vacation is get up, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, wherever you are, and go see the sights and go do this and go do that.
I like to go places I haven't been. I like to see new cultures and new people and new architecture and things like that. So when I go places, most of the time, yes, I am going to see something as opposed to just sit there.
And I don't mind going to see things. Wake up, about 10, 11 o'clock and go see something. And
the day's over.
Yeah, see that's
this is where we just differ.
Yeah, okay, I say 10 o'clock. Actually, I wouldn't sleep that late. If I sleep late, it's maybe 9 o'clock. I did sleep to 10 recently, but that was an accident. That was, what was it? That was NyQuil.
The accident of NyQuil. But that's one of our our differing points is that I'm an early morning person, but then I'm
an early morning person
done.
too.
Once the sun starts going down, which is why I don't like this time zone right now that we are in. Even though I do like the earlier morning part of it, but I don't like the getting dark at whatever time it gets dark nowadays. 5:30, I guess it is.
I'm an early morning person too. I'm an earlier morning person than you are.
Well, he stays up until the early morning, and then he goes to bed at like 3 this morning was when he came in and woke us.
See, I'm up
woke
earlier
some of
than
us
she
up.
is.
So, but then my alarm
I didn't
went
wake
off
you.
at 4:30.
It's the dogs. I come upstairs. Oh my God, they went crazy. We have 4 dogs.
Yeah,
and
4
2
dogs,
cats.
and they were in bed already. And so they started like hearing him coming up the stairs and getting excited instead of just staying in bed and sleeping.
The dogs were getting excited, not me.
Yeah. So, so as we start to wind down here. So
Wind down.
Yeah. Not wine it down.
I thought we were going to have a wind down.
No, we're not doing a wind down.
Okay.
You want a glass of wine? I have wine in the other room if you'd like some. But
I'm not really, I
you're
prefer,
not really a wine person.
I'd
so
rather have vodka and
yeah.
something. Vodka martini.
And I don't drink, so
Kettle One.
Water for me. But as we start to wind down, if you were going to give one tip to an entrepreneur, someone that wanted to start a business, so not necessarily a creative person, because I know you gave that tip a minute ago, but if you were going to give one tip to someone that maybe wanted to start a business that you've learned along the way, maybe you had early success with, or maybe you didn't have early success and you kind of realized that, hey, I need this, what would that tip be?
First thing, know what it is you want to do. Don't just go into something because, you want to start your own business. Find something you have a passion for, because you're going to work harder than you will at any other job. If you have your own business and you want it to be successful, you will work harder, at least in the beginning, than you will working for someone else. So you better have a passion for it, because you're not going to be getting paid for it in the very beginning, most likely. So you need something that will keep you going so that you can get to the point of getting paid for it. And when you can get paid for doing what it is you really like doing, it's so much better than going to a job and working for someone else doing what they want you to do to make their life better. So they may pay you something to make their life better, but it's about them. Whereas if it's your own business, it's about you. So make sure you have a passion for it. And then, very, very important, find a mentor, somebody that's done it before, and not just somebody, various mentors. Get advice from anyone that's been where you are. It may be a different business, but it's still a business concept, and listen to them. And
find the right mentor, though.
Don't try to act like the smartest person in the room. Ask questions. Go in there and allow yourself to be the naive person, naive kid, whatever it is, and ask questions. And don't go and talk to a group like you're the greatest, like, yes, I can do this, I can do that. Go there and ask questions and find a group of people that know more than you do and learn from them, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And don't, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't stand in your own way. Like, it took me a long time to realize that, okay, Allison's almost as smart as I am. And it took me a long time to realize that and accept that. Okay, so she's smarter than I am. It took me even longer to realize that. So she is very smart when it comes to business. And I had to learn what I just said, learn from those that are smarter than you or have done what you've done. But it took a while, but I realized that she's a better business person than I am. And I had to back off and let her make decisions that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I saw that they were the right decisions. And I felt they were the right decisions. Don't be hard-headed. Listen to others and put your ego aside. Don't let your ego work against you. Let your ego work for you.
I think that was 3 tips. As for 1, I got 3, so I got a bonus, 2 bonuses.
Hey, look, you're learning from me. That's because I'm smarter than you.
Nice try.
Why is Lauren smiling?
Thank you for joining me on the Dream Plan Start Grow show today.
Well, you're welcome, but I'd have to be here anyway. If I'm not in front of the camera, like I said, I'm behind the camera.
That's right. But now you get to be in front of the camera too. And you said you like to be in front of the camera. So
yeah, performing, not talking. This
is a performance. We could do a whole comedy routine.
Okay, I'm going to sing Ave Maria. Is it Ave or Ave?
Ave Maria.
Ave. I'm going to sing Ave
Ave?
Maria. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm not going to sing it.
No, I'm going to sing it. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'd love me to make a fool of myself on TV, right?
That's one of my favorite songs. So
That's why I said that.
well, thought maybe you do it.
What's
well.
my favorite song? My very favorite song.
Imagine by the Beatles or John Lennon.
Yeah,
So see, I got it right. But we digress. So
we normally do.
thank you, everyone, for coming to the Dream Plan Start Grow show today. Again, my name is Allison Turner. I'm the founder of Batcat Media Group, which is home of Dream Plan Start Grow. If you have any questions for me, go to dreamplanstartgrow.com. You can set up a complimentary consultation on that site. Hey, are you like giving me rabbit ears or
No,
something?
I just put my arm back there to stretch.
You can set up a complimentary consultation or send me a message at success@dreamplanstartgrow.com. Thank you again, and I'll see you next week.
And if you need to reach me, just reach me through Allison. She is my personal secretary. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Dream Plan Start Grow podcast with Allison Turner. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. Join the Dream Plan Start Grow community by following us on Facebook or Instagram @Dream Plan Start Grow. See you in the next episode.